We're going to be talking first and foremost about the train wreck that is the President of the United States of America.
I can't even.
I don't blame you.
What was that? He looked like a scared, frail old man. He looked
I'm gonna show your tweet real quick. Let's start it with this. This is just, I mean,
this is like the epitome of everything I thought during this speech. Is Biden is like,
what is he doing?
He looks like he's crying. He literally. So what happened is, this is that guy from Fox News, right? Like, what's his name?
Ducey. Peter Ducey, yeah.
And he was the last one called on for a question, and he asked, a legitimate question, and Biden tried to turn it around and be like, "Oh, well, what do you think about this?" I don't even remember what Biden asked because he was mumbling.
What do you think? Do you believe me, or do you? And then he said, "Well, it's And then he says later on too. He says it's unfair for me to even ask you guys questions, but raise your hands. Raise your hand if you're against war." And it's like, wait, what? I mean, he didn't. I'm paraphrasing, because he was talking about something specific, but that's basically what he was saying. It's like, duh, of course they're all against war. Like, what are you doing? This isn't some kid's class. You're on the world stage. You're making real decisions that are getting people killed.
And you know what, the thing of it is too, another really offensive thing that happened separately from his putting his head down and crying as Pete Ducey was asking him a question was he brought up his son dying of brain cancer.
That was the AP that brought that up.
Well, okay, let's just be blunt for a second. All those questions are planted. They knew exactly what order to go in.
Well,
they knew exactly what questions were going to be asked.
How did he start the questioning? He said, "Oh, I've got this list of approved people I'm supposed to call on," and then he starts calling on everybody. The second one, I believe, or I don't remember when, but it was the AP, and they're like, "Well, look, you're doing an incredible job, by the way. You're doing so great. I know you lost your son to cancer, and that's really terrible. So you know what loss is like. So what kind of ice cream do you like?"
Yeah, but
that's not what they asked him. I'm just
basically
that's what it felt like.
But Biden did bring him up in the speech, though.
Did he?
Biden brought his son up in the speech because I made a comment on it. I was like, you know what? So listen, a child dying of brain cancer is tragic. My uncle died of brain cancer. It was horrific to watch. I'm not trying to diminish that pain. However, a child dying of brain cancer is significantly different than 12 Marines dying in an attack.
One naval officer.
Well,
no, I'm just being specific.
That's cool. But then service members dying in an attack that was completely preventable in this whole giant foobar that just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And listen, I've been saying from the beginning, we never should have been there in the first place. Is my opinion. We never should have been there in the first place.
No, we should have gone as soon as Osama bin Laden got killed. We should have been done. Like, all right, we got who we came for. He was the mastermind that planned the attack. All right, we're done.
See,
but Obama kept us there.
Well, I disagree on that point. I don't think we ever should. We can disagree on that point. We're allowed to disagree and be adults. Sure. But I was protesting this stuff 20 years ago in college, and so that's the first point I want everyone to take from this. But I also think because I think the Taliban was eventually going to win this anyway. However, how you leave matters. How you leave matters.
Leaving $85 billion in military equipment and Americans behind enemy lines, and then claiming, well, not all of them didn't want to leave. Some of them wanted to stay. It's like,
what?
Are you serious? You know what? This is what really pissed me off. Biden had the nerve to say, I'm a student of history, all right? And you look at other withdrawals in the past, and there's always people left behind. He said that. Tell that to their families, Biden. Say that to their faces, to the family members of the people that you left behind.
Yeah.
Well, there's always people that are left behind. Yeah, when you bumble taking everyone out, that was your fault, Biden. Now there's these memes that are going around with a bloodstained hand over the Biden. You've seen it. It's crazy. All right, let me just read this because this is from the Daily Mail, and they always have a great bullet points right in the beginning. And this is a horrendous article. There are so many graphic images. I'm not going to show them. Obviously, it says graphic content. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to read these bullet points, and we're going to continue talking about it all. 2 ISIS suicide bombers killed 12 U.S. troops and 60 Afghans. Pentagon vows to hunt down terrorists and continue shambolic evacuation, but warns we expect these attacks to continue. Well, of course they're going to continue. 11 Marines and 1 Navy medic were killed on Thursday by the attack at Kabul Airport. President Biden addressed the nation at 5:30 Eastern Time, 8 hours after the attack. At 3 p.m. Eastern, General Kenneth McKenzie, the commander on the ground, spoke to reporters. He said the evacuation would continue, but that there were active threats of additional attacks. The first bomb was detonated in a suicide vest, and the bomber was being searched by Marines. It's unclear how he got past Taliban checkpoints before the airport and to get close enough. General McKenzie said the U.S. would retaliate against ISIS when they find the exact people responsible. Other NATO countries begged him to extend his August 31st deadline to get out, but he refused. Norway, Poland, Canada, Holland have now all stopped evacuating citizens from Afghanistan. Biden is adamant he can get everyone out by August 31st, but has offered no plan for how he will do it. No, he didn't offer any plan, but he basically said today during his press conference that he's going to leave people behind. That it's part of the job. It happens. And you know what? Those people didn't even want to leave. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're telling themselves.
It's so disgusting. I mean, we're seeing all these stories come out of people that are trying to get out, can't get to the airport, can't get through checkpoints. They're telling them to go to one building, then they're telling them to go to another building. I have a whole bunch of people that I chat with in different signal groups, and there are people that are trying to figure out how to get their friends out. There's one guy today in one of my signal groups that actually by himself, separately from all of this, was able to arrange emergency air evacuations. Wow. It's just so ridiculous. And he was telling us the other day, he was like, I know 2 women that are there, and they have cut off all of their hair to look like men just in case they're discovered.
Wow.
I was like, my God. And, it puts everything in perspective, doesn't it? Because we have this woke contingent in our country always telling us how horrible our system is, how patriarchal our system is. Well, guess what? It's looking pretty good to a lot of people right now that are desperate to get here.
Did you see that? I'm going to show this real quick. The Taliban seat on the UN Commission on the Status of Women is likely.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you not hear this, Carlin?
No.
Should I read that again? Because it is exactly what I just said, exactly what you thought you just heard. The Taliban seat on the UN Commission on the Status of Women is likely. It is bonkers.
I can't even. We live in absolute clown world. We live in a dystopian. There's a reason I'm wearing this hat.
It gets worse. It gets worse. Have you seen this thing?
What?
I don't know if you've seen this. Canada's Minister for Women and Gender Equality referred to the Taliban as our brothers. Not, these people that are killing women. Like, they shot and killed a woman because she wasn't wearing a burqa. Day one. I don't know if you heard this story.
Oh yeah. They set women on fire because they didn't like the meal that they forced them to cook.
Wow. Yeah. See, and who was to blame for that? The woman, probably.
Yep.
Because that's just the way they do. They hate the West. They hate society that we've built over here. They cannot stand that people like you, Carlin, can vote. That
I wouldn't be allowed out of the house.
That you're a doctor. That's against everything that they go for. You shouldn't have an education past the age of 10, according to the Taliban. And yet they're going to sit on the UN panel for women, and the Canadian's Minister for Women and Gender Equality. I was thinking it was going to be equity.
You always have to double check.
I had to double check. I was like, is it equity? I want to say equity. No, it's equality. Okay. But the Taliban are suddenly our brothers, and
I can't.
What? This kind of stuff is just, who are they rooting for? Are they rooting for Americans? Or are they rooting for the Taliban? Like,
they're rooting for
side are they on?
Oh, I'll tell you exactly whose side they're on. They're rooting for China. China is already establishing diplomatic relationships with the Taliban. Probably already had it before.
Yep,
that's where this is going.
This is so your tweet, you were like, you needed to see this.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend sent me this picture, and I couldn't stop laughing. Look at the interpreter. I tweeted this and I just said, the interpreter is all of us.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, compare the energy that Biden had in this address today to Trump. Like, compare the two.
This dude's an old man.
He is an old man, and Trump's old.
Etc. You know.
Biden reminds me of my grandfather when my grandfather was in the later years of his life, when he was just like wanted to like hang out and be in his slippers all day and just like, you know, just like
that's what he should be doing. Joe Biden should be retired in 2012. All right, you lasted until 2016. All right, retire, man. You're done. Please retire. All right, go enjoy the rest of your life. They took him and propped him up. Nobody wanted him in the primaries. Like, Biden didn't make it. What is he doing?
Nope. And they did it because they want Kamala Harris in that office. And you know
they
what?
Might get it.
I think they're absolutely going to get it at some point. I mean, it's just kind of a matter of when.
GOP lawmakers Josh Hawley, Matt Gaetz, Ronnie Jackson, Marjorie Greene. It's Marjorie, right?
Marjorie.
Yeah, Marjorie Greene join call for Biden to resign over Afghanistan debacle. I mean, every single poll that I'm seeing, like, should Biden resign? Overwhelmingly, yes. Granted, they tend to be from Republican-sided, biased people on Twitter with followers that have like minds. But the problem lies in Kamala Harris as vice president.
Oh, I understand. But you know what? I kind of think at this point, I mean, Biden's approval numbers are dropping. And you know what? Like, I really think Kamala is going to ascend to the presidency at some point anyway. I think that's part of whatever plan that they put in place. And it's just kind of a matter of when. And quite frankly, is there anything more poetic about her ascending now during the midst of a giant military foobar in a country that is actively oppressing women, and we have Kamala Harris in the presidency cackling all the time, every single time she's asked a question? I mean,
Kamala, let me ask you about the people that are back there. Not right. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. I know you want to ask me these questions. All right, I want to get serious now. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, you know what I think is going to happen?
What?
I think Biden is going to resign. And Kamala's going to resign. Kamala's going to be like, you know what? I can't handle it. And Nancy Pelosi's going to be president.
It really wouldn't surprise me.
How scary is that?
It really would not surprise me at all, because did you hear, and this was right when all this stuff started, they said that Kamala was heard screaming, "This S isn't going to get pinned on me."
Yep. I saw that. I mean, what exactly is she doing, right? She was tagged as the border czar, and what did she do there? Literally nothing.
Nothing.
She didn't even go down there. She went to El Paso, and that's a city that is having those issues, because I don't know if you've been to El Paso, but there's a pretty legitimate line between the American side and the Mexican side.
Right.
You can't just like get over easily there because it's a major city. The problem lies like out in the country, you know, where the wall was being built. Anyway. This is
we'll see. It doesn't even matter. It's gonna be we have at least another 3 years of a hot mess. But Adam, did you see the commercial that Trump released?
I did. I actually have it. I have the file itself.
Good. It's
I bet I could play it. Should I just play it right now?
I think you should play it. It's amazing. It will make us all feel better about our state of affairs.
Hold on. I'm gonna play this for everybody, because if you guys haven't seen this, you need to see it.
Trump is running again.
America is back.
Highest inflation rate in the U.S.
Southern border is collapsing. A climb of COVID infections.
We amplify our power. We summoned a new strength.
This is a recruitment ad.
Should we be embarrassed?
Diplomacy is back.
Now the Taliban are back.
Kabul is not in an imminent threat environment.
The likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
They own the whole country now, the Taliban.
The Taliban are now in complete control of Afghanistan. Complete chaos.
How did President Biden get this so wrong?
Well, first of all, the mission hasn't failed yet.
If this isn't failure, what does failure look like exactly?
Biden, you destroyed not Afghanistan, but the world!
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. Do I bear responsibility? Zero responsibility.
China is ready for friendly relations with the Taliban.
I feel like they're gonna stop at the door and they're the Taliban and they're gonna come in and kill us.
Slow down, everybody.
We have to ask the Taliban for permission for American citizens to leave. True or not true?
They are in control.
I can't think of anyone better to lead this operation than
They're just chanting death to America.
And you call yourself a president?
Trump's running again. He's running.
Of course he's going to run again.
I cannot imagine a bigger statement. We kind of knew that anyway, but the hammer has dropped. And maybe like what I've heard is like Trump was like, he was kind of saying he was, but he was still thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think this is the very best sign we have that Trump has like something has snapped and Trump is like, I'm doing it.
My question though is, how can people defend that? How can you see what this president is and not go, this is a problem? These people are literally out there going, he's the best president ever. And I'm like, how can you defend that ad right there? That is absolutely brutal.
Because they don't see it. They don't see it. The Democrats literally do not see the same news that we see.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? And it's sad. I mean, we have people celebrating, it was the best military operation in history. I mean, I'm sorry, what? Excuse me? Because they're literally not showing this information. Although, I mean, the media has been turning on Biden. Like, they are not happy with him. So there is some
No one's happy with him. I've got a couple other articles that I could pull up that are, the CIA is pissed off. Let me see if I can just... The Pentagon and the CIA are super pissed at him. It's kind of a long article. I mean, I feel like we've ragged on. I'm so over it. Talk about Biden.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Nirvana.
Before we move on, I just want to say to all of the family members out there, if you are a family member to any of the service men and women that are out there serving for us, especially in Afghanistan right now, please, I wish you well, and that your family that is out there fighting for us, thank them for me. And I hope that they get home safe, because it is not a safe place for any American to be right now.